Yes, people, welcome back to the AFC Elite channel and welcome back to another episode of the Is Yours Gold podcast. It is episode number 6 today, and I come to you solo. As you know, my co-host on the channel, Aaron, he's currently got some family events going on, some personal issues, so, you know, we're thinking of him, hoping he's doing well. And we hope to have him back very, very soon. But it's just me this week for this episode, and you know how it is around here, people. If you're going to enjoy this episode, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and keep an eye on all the socials. We are active on Instagram, TikTok, X or Twitter, and obviously the YouTube. Also Facebook now, I've realised we are posting back to that as well. So yeah, all the socials in the description if you don't know them already. But I think we should just dive straight into it. So, Port Vale. This is going to be, probably the most boring review ever. If I was with Aaron, we'd probably be sleeping through this. But yeah, I think what we all can agree on is it was a better lineup to begin with. Obviously, they had Eze, Martinelli, Nwaneri, Saka, even like Mars Lewis-Skelly, all from the get-go. And I think it looks very positive. I think that even I'm not alone in thinking that Martinelli was up top. But as we went through the game, we started to see that it was actually Marino in that position. But yeah, I mean, it was a quick start to the game. Nice goal for Eze, his first goal for the Arsenal. You can see he's very happy to get it. And at that moment, you're kind of thinking it's going to be a bit of a riot. You know, we're going to keep on going on. And it was a great goal. Nice little intricate play from Martinelli, Mars Lewis-Skelly and Eze. And you are thinking the floodgates are going to open. However, it did not end up like that. It ended up being quite stale. Not really much patterns going, not many shots. I mean, yeah, it was very, very boring game to watch, to be honest. And I'd say that, you know, those games like that, if we don't win, then it is a concern. However, we did, so we can be happy. And we can... Sorry, I've realised I've got the Liverpool Crystal Palace game. It is on the way in a couple of minutes. So hopefully if they bloody lose there, drop some points for us, so it would be good. But yeah, I did think the positive again is that Trossard come off the bench to win it for us. Well, not win it, but, you know, contribute. And he just really is a different man off the bench. It's so crazy to watch. It's just like a different player. It's nuts. And whether or not he'll be warranted to start this week, we'll get onto that later. But yeah, it's good to see him coming on the bench and contributing. Like, I think Arteta so much wants his players to do, you know, when they are coming on late. You know, he's called them finishers, as we've talked about previously on the podcast. And you know, that's clearly coming to fruition. They really are finishing the game for us. So, you know, we're happy to see that. Another goal contribution for him. But yeah, like I was saying, I think that in a performance like that, if you don't get the job done and you don't win, that's where it's an issue. But where it is kind of just, you know, you come out injury-free. I mean, I know Saka got clamped a little bit, but I think he was all right. No issues otherwise from there. But, you know, you're just happy to go through to the next round. And was it a concerning attacking performance? Probably. We want to see better, and it's been a common theme. So it's not like it's a one-off in this match. It has been a common theme this season. However, we're going to look positive. We're going to take the result and move on to the next round, which will be Brighton, once again in the Carabao Cup. And the last time we did play them was 2023 in the Carabao Cup, when they came to the Emirates, which they will be doing this October, and they beat us 3-1. I remember that game very well. I think I know Nelson scored for us. Or was it Nketiah? One of them, I don't know. They're both involved in the goal. And yeah, I remember Danny Welbeck. I remember him celebrating the corner. Same with like Matoma and them. Yeah, weren't the greatest of games for us. But hopefully, like we said before in this podcast, we want to take all competition seriously so we can get the job done. Get another good lineup out. Better performance. We're going to need to, because Brighton are not... They didn't start the season great, to be honest, but they've had some good results in there regardless. You know, they've beaten City. They put up a great fight against Tottenham, which probably they as a 2-0 up, they should have won it, but even then Tottenham did outplay them, I think. But yeah, that's going to be definitely a good match for us. It could have been a worse tie, 100%, and obviously it's a home tie, so we're happy to get that. But moving on from Port Vale, I think that's pretty much all we've got to cover. There's not much to discuss other than that, but I do want to quickly touch on the passing away of Billy Vigor. First of all, rest in peace. He passed away at 21 this week. Our thoughts and wishes come out to his family, and yeah, he's in our prayers. And unfortunately, during Saturday's game of Chichester versus Wingate and Finchley, he suffered what they described as a brain injury, and therefore he is unfortunately passed at such a young age at 21. Very, very talented. A lot of time to go and, really achieve what he wanted to. And we're really sad to see this news. And yeah, like we say, real thoughts to his family. He joined us at 14 years of age, so young. He was with us in the under-18s, playing a lot of appearances. Same with the under-21s, and he's played for other clubs. For the likes of even #United, a very renowned club in the social media space. So yeah, prayers and thoughts out to him, and rest in peace. Too young. But yeah, moving on swiftly from that, we're going to go to some other contract news. In the week, we've also realised that Saliba has signed an extension. David Ornstein dropped the bomber, and yeah, to say the least, it is a relief. I mean, it really is a statement of intent from Arteta that it is kind of a new era, it's a new mentality here. Obviously, in the Emirates era, we have been prone to selling our best players when we have been on a good run. Think of the 07-08 season when we were starting to rebuild a team, and we had that team featuring the likes of Fabregas and even like Nasri, I'm pretty sure was in there that time, Van Persie. But I think as we went on the years, we ended up selling them to Barcelona, Man United, Man City, the likes of them. And with the Real Madrid rumours, you kind of thought, you were always worried in the back of your mind, would William Saliba want to stay here, especially with us not bringing the big majors and the trophies home. So it was always a thing there in the back of our minds. But to get that done is huge. You can't be understated how big that is. And what that does as well, I think, is set a statement to even the players in the dressing room that, one of our biggest stars are staying for another 5 years. 2030, it's a long time. So maybe the likes of Gabriel will then also want to solidify himself for a couple more years. Same with, Declan Rice, Saka. I think Saka will stay anyway because he's a boyhood Arsenal fan. But, we've heard crazier things. Look at Trent, for example. It is a different era these days. But, yeah, such a great news this week. Going on to slightly worse news off of that Saliba, positivity. We've got Madueke, but there was injury rumours in the week of an ACL. The minute we filmed our last podcast, me and Aaron, we literally closed our laptops, went away. I was on the way to the gym. He messaged me, Madueke injured, Madueke ACL. I thought, oh my God, there's no way. It is literally 1 in, 1 out. The minute Saka gets back, he's injured. Luckily, it doesn't look like it's being an ACL. It looks like it's just going to be, I think it is a knee injury, but it'll just be a few weeks instead of what could have been months, aka the whole full year if it's an ACL. It's awful. But yeah, apparently it was sustained in the Manchester City game, and he was trying to play through it, and that's why Saka then came on at half-time, which even kind of puts a new spin on to what we thought that game was. I thought that it was because, Arteta wanted to make a statement of intent after that disgraceful first half performance against City and really wanted to throw, all his guns at them. But maybe if Madueke wasn't injured, we wouldn't have seen Saka until later on, so who knows. But regardless, we hopefully wish him more back soon. Other injury issues, we've got Hincapié. The reason he didn't start, which I thought, and a lot of us were surprised for him not to start against Port Vale to make his, first team debut, obviously starting from the front, is because he's had a little groin issue. So hopefully it's nothing too serious by the looks of things, but it will be out. So, hopefully he gets back at least, by the international break is over. And Odegaard is back in training after his reoccurring shoulder injury. So he could be in contention to start against Newcastle this week. I mean, that is definitely a decision that Arteta is going to have to make. He's one of our best creators, but has he really lived up to it in the past couple of years? It's been on and off. Even this season hasn't been too great, despite his injuries. But yeah, I think that's a good segment to move into the Newcastle preview. And this is going to be, on paper, the lowest two teams with their XG in the league at the moment. It is going to be a bore fest if it were on paper. But however, we know games are not just played off of stats. And, in previous seasons, this has been a game where we haven't won there since 22-23. We lost there twice last season, both in the Carabao Cup and in the league. And the season before we lost, which was where that, infamous "it's a disgrace" moment from Arteta. So I really am nervous about this, and people are calling it a must-win, and I'm not really surprised. It has been. If we do end up losing this, and behind me, if Liverpool do get the 3 points at Selhurst Park against Palace, that will be 8 points behind them, and it's not even October yet. It will be an utter shambles, and we'll be looking at is the league already over? It will be terrible position to be in with such a squad that we thought we were so confident in. However, Yeah, we really have to go for it and prove to ourselves that we want to go for this title and we are serious. We can't just keep coming to these grounds and losing and becoming dogs and, becoming certain teams' bitches. We've got to go there and really, solidify ourselves. And that is where I think the lineup is going to have a massive effect. We all know this. Recently, Arteta's lineups have been, I called them cowardly on the last podcast, especially with the Manchester City one, because I thought that was awful. However, here, I genuinely think that he might go for the same midfield. And if he was going to use that midfield, this is probably the game that you could probably justify it the most because of the physicality of Newcastle, where they have Joe Linton, where they have Bruno Guimaraes, where they have Tonali. That is a proper strong midfield. So if you want to go for a Marino, Zubimendi, Rice, I'd understand it. And this is why I think he might do it again. But it's annoying because now we're in a situation that we are all fed up of seeing it because he did it against the teams that he shouldn't have, like Man City, where he should have thrown an essay or an area in there. And it's going to be a real debate what he's going to go for and what people will react to it. Personally, I'll understand it, but I still don't want to see it. I think you had your time to, prove, kind of save that for this game. And you should have done it and changed up against City. But now I don't want to see this physicality in here. I really want to see Marino out of it, if I'm being honest. I want to see a Rice. I want to see Eze. I want to see Zubimendi in that midfield. And if Odegaard is back, I would probably replace that for Eze and put Eze on the left. But yeah, I think Martinelli will start. I think Saka will have to start now because Madueke's out and Gyokeres will obviously go up top. But even in the back, I think now you put Saliba and Gabriel in. Obviously, Gabriel had a little rest in the week, so it's good for him. Calafiori will come back, I'm expecting. Same with Yuri and Timber. Tavares, obviously, to fill up the goalkeeper spot. But yeah, I mean, I generally can see that midfield remaining the same as much as I don't want it to. But it's just logically, this is where he would play that midfield three of the Spaniards and Declan Rice. I mean, I don't know, I call them Spaniards, but because, you see them more as that, players that are tall, players that have a presence, and apart from Zubimendi, I guess, but he's a defensive midfielder anyway. So this is where I can see it justified, but I just don't want to see it now because you could have, if you were to play that here at Newcastle, that's where you should have taken the risks back at Manchester City, back at Liverpool. And here at Newcastle, I don't want to see that now. I've had enough. I've seen it too many times and I want to switch up. So whether he's going to play in Ranieri, whether he's going to play Eze, or whether he's going to play Odegaard, I want to see a shift in that midfield because otherwise it's going to be the same old story. And that's something we cannot afford because if we are 8 points behind Liverpool and it's not even October yet, it's going to be serious questions on this manager. Right then, people. I'm not going to do predictions today because just out of respect, like I say, Aaron's situation right now, we're going to wish him well and I'd rather not just, bother him asking for predictions. So we will look at the table. I mean, last week we had no predictions correct. So it was 2-0. I went for 3-0. Aaron went for 4-0. He could have gone either side of the 3-0. He went for the more. He should have gone for the less, knowing that our attack has been so woeful this season. So he was, he really could have got off the scoreline last week. However, we remain at, I think I'm 2-0 up. So yeah, apart from that, people, that is all we've got for you for this episode of the podcast. We apologise that is a slightly shorter one, and we apologise, obviously, that I am on my own today. We're looking to get back to that, we'll give it maybe by next episode, if not then the episode after. We'll just give Aaron some time, and obviously I don't want to say his business on the internet, so I'm going to just leave it at that. And don't worry, we are going to still be active on all of our social medias anyway, the Instagrams, the TikToks, the Twitter, the X, so really do just, if you want to stay in contact with us, you know where to find us. We're always producing content, always trying to stay consistent and produce the most elitist Arsenal content out there. So people, thank you. I want to thank you all very much for watching this episode, and like I say, once again, I was by myself today, so hopefully I did a good job. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode, and hopefully I will see you all very soon on the next episode of the Is Yours Gold podcast, hopefully with a win at St. James's Park. Going to be a very, very difficult game. However, let's see if these lot slip up as well. Come on, I want a Mateta goal, man. Boom, 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 boom. But yeah, thank you people very much for watching. I'll see you in the next episode very, very soon.